The day begins like any other for the main character, quiet and uneventful. Wakes up, stretches his arms, and glances around his room. Everything seems normal, but something feels off. His reflection in the mirror looks back at him, but today it seems different. His heart races, but he can't quite figure out why. It's as if the air around him has shifted and the day is about to bring something unexpected. As he heads downstairs, he notices small, strange changes. His movements feel lighter, energy unusually high. He brushes it off as just a good morning, though the thought lingers. Then, out of nowhere, his sister enters the scene with a cheerful smile, holding out a drink. She says it's a new blend she's trying, urging him to taste it. He hesitates, but not wanting to hurt her feelings. He takes a sip. The flavor is sweet, almost too sweet, but he doesn't think much of it. The day starts as any other. Breakfast, chores, and some quiet time. Slowly, peculiar things begin to happen. Feels his body acting strangely, as if it's not entirely his own. His strength wanes, his voice softens, and he becomes hyper-aware of even the smallest sensations. He brushes it off at first, trying to convince himself it's all in his head. But is it? He decides to confront his sister about the drink. She smiles, acting innocent, and brushes off his concerns with her usual teasing nature. But there's something in her tone that makes him question her sincerity. Did she know something he didn't? Could she have planned this? Days pass. His body continues to change in ways he can't ignore. His figure becomes more delicate, his voice lighter, and even his expressions feel different. He avoids mirrors, unable to recognize himself anymore. Frustration builds inside him as he confronts his sister again, demanding answers. She finally admits that the drink was part of an experiment she'd been working on. She says it's harmless, meant for research purposes, but her casual tone only makes him more uneasy. "What kind of research?" he asks, his voice trembling with a mix of anger and confusion. She explains her intentions in a way that sounds logical, but to him it feels like a betrayal. How could she experiment on him without his permission? The question burns in his mind. Why didn't she think about how this would affect him? First, he tries to adapt to his new reality, thinking it might be temporary. With every passing day, the changes seem more permanent. He begins to feel trapped in a life that no longer feels like his own. His sister, on the other hand, treats it as a joke, laughing off his worries and telling him to just go with the flow. Her carefree attitude only deepens his frustration. Day he decides he's had enough. Determined to find a solution, he starts researching everything he can about the changes he's experiencing. His focus becomes sharper as he dives into books, online forums, and even old journals left by his sister. He hopes to find some clue, some way to reverse whatever has happened to him. But the deeper he digs, the more he realizes how little he knows about the experiment. As he works, his sister watches him from afar. She seems conflicted, as if she regrets what she's done, but doesn't know how to fix it. There's a moment when she tries to apologize, her voice soft and filled with guilt. But he brushes her off, too angry to listen. He feels betrayed and alone, like the world he once knew has been taken from him. Night, as he sits alone in his room, he begins to wonder, can he ever forgive her? Could he ever go back to being the person he was before? Is this his new reality? These questions keep him awake, his mind racing with possibilities and fears. Determination doesn't waver, though. He continues to search for answers, even as the days blend together. His sister starts to help him, bringing him notes and resources. The tension between them remains. Their relationship, once full of teasing and laughter, now feels fragile, like it could break at any moment. One moment of vulnerability, he looks at his sister and asks, "Why me? Why did you choose me for this?" Her answer is simple yet painful. She says she trusted him, believed he was the only one who could handle the experiment. But to him, it doesn't feel like trust. It feels like betrayal. Season reaches its peak. He faces a turning point. He finds a clue that could potentially reverse the changes, but comes with risks. The process is untested, and there's no guarantee it will work. His sister begs him to reconsider, saying she doesn't want to lose him, but he's determined. This is his chance to take back control of his life. Final moments, he stands at a crossroads. Should he take the risk and try to undo the changes, or should he accept his new reality and find a way to move forward? The decision weighs heavily on him, and he knows it will define who he becomes. The screen fades. A lingering question remains. If you were in his shoes, would you fight to go back to your old life, or would you embrace the new one? What would you choose? Forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep following stories like this one.